GP Guru. Today we're going to be looking at ending turns. It's going to be a relatively short episode just to kind of tie up the first battle choice that we've created. I'm also going to be amending the AI choice ever so slightly. So to do that, what we're going to do is first head into our battle proxy, and we're going to go to the event graph, and we're going to head up to the make AI choice. And basically, for now, we've been setting everything to move index 1, but we kind of don't really want that to happen. We want the AI to change moves as the battle goes on. So we're going to get rid of that for a moment, and what we're going to do is we're going to get our enemy team like so, and we're going to run that through a for each loop, and we're going to find that enemy via the if we click equals, and we'll look for the current enemy index like so, and we'll do a branch. And once we've found that creature, we're going to break, and all we need is to hide all of those and get our move slots. We're going to get the length of that move slot, and from that we're going to -1. The reason we -1 is because our move slots range from 0, 1, 2, and 3, but the length will return how many items are in there. So it'll count 0 as 1, 1 as 2, 2 as 3, and 4. 3 as 4. So it'll mistake in there to be a random move that's not actually there. So we'll get a random integer in range, and we want this to be the max. So we want it to get a random integer from 0 to 3, essentially. So if it pulls through 0, we're going to get our first move. If it pulls through 3, we're going to get our fourth move. That's kind of how that works. And from there, we can get the chosen move index, and we can set that. So now at this point, we actually have a random attacking move choice. So, and this will work whether the wild creature has 1 move or if it has 4 moves. It will just pick a number within that area and use a move. Obviously, if you want something a little bit more in depth down the line, you'll have to have a lot more options to choose what the enemy does. So the more variables you enter into this, the more of a randomized and a more calculated choice you're going to get. So this is just purely random though. So this is just taking the length of how many moves they have, and it will randomly pick a move. So you could end up using a stat move multiple times when actually realistically what you wanted them to do was think, should I do damage here or should I not do damage? What you'll need to basically ask a bunch more questions here for them to choose an actual move if you want it to be more calculated. But this is the more simplified version. That's obviously up to you guys to add some extra logic checks to pick better moves. This will just get you a random move. But with this way, we can actually utilize the full enemy's rosters of moves as opposed to just setting it to one individual move. So hopefully this will get you a little bit of a better varied battle result. So from there, we want to now just finish up by going to our event graph. I'm going to close a bunch of these down now because we don't technically need them. We're going to close all these down and deal with ending our move. So one thing we did set up was this choice check. This is going to come in handy now with this last bit of code. Let's head over. I'm just grabbing the correct document, so I apologize. That's what I'm looking for. So we're going to utilize this choice check now because if the battle ends, we need the system to carry on checking for whether the 2 moves or the 1 move has been used. So let's head to this lovely variable here we did in an earlier episode. And what we're doing now is we're just ending the turn. It's very simple. We want to get our battle widget reference. So get the battle widget reference here, drag it out, and we want to set the is move active. And we're setting that to false. And that will just allow us to make another move. So if you remember, when we make a move, it sets that to true in the widget so that we can't keep selecting buttons and basically stockpiling move choices. It forces the player to wait until the turn ends. So we're reactivating that now by setting it to false. The other thing we'll want to do is if there are any dialog boxes up, we want to get rid of them at this point. So once the turn ends, we will take this and plug this in, and we'll say is hidden, so that removes that ready to make our next choice. You could change that, so you could have it say instead you could keep it open, but have this set to say something like Pokemon's name, or you could have what will Pokemon's name do next, and have that stay up and active if you want to do that as well. But if you want to do that, you can just follow the steps we've done with all of the other versions of this widget box, which is set it to visible and set the text. It's as simple as that. The other thing we want to do is we want to get our camera switch, and we want to set that back to the overview. That way, it goes back to that kind of angled view that you can see both players. You can sort of see the arena that you're fighting in and waiting to make that choice. Once we've done that, we have those two lovely variables here, which is player has chosen and enemy has chosen, and we're going to set them both back to false. This will also allow us to the system to wait for a turn. So if you remember, if you go back to here, it waits to see if both players have made their choice, like down here. And if we have, it will carry on and actually process the battle. But obviously, if it sets to false, it's waiting for us to make that choice, which is activated by this is move active. So we're basically setting that to false, we're setting these to false, and then we're basically ready to make another choice. But there's one last thing we need to do, and that is do a choice check, like so. And that will basically send that back to here so that it stops. It can let the event tick start running again. Event ticks are very expensive. I would always highly recommend avoiding them where you can. Sometimes it's not always doable, like in this scenario. But instead of having that event tick run all the time, we are allowing ourselves to stop it running just while the battle is doing its thing. Once that's over with, the event tick can start running again while it waits to have that choice be made. We want this to run as little as possible so that we because if you have like 100 players all battling at the same time and this event tick was running constantly, it's gonna eat up a lot of your basically all of your leeway that you have with the game. I'm trying to think of the word. It's lost me. I'm having a brain fart, but I'm sure you know what I mean. But basically, this eats up all of that kind of extra wiggle room you have with games as it's running because it's very expensive. So we want to pause that whenever we can. And this choice check is a very and this do once is a very easy method of stopping this from running because it can't go anywhere. If you unhook this, this event tick is still happening, but it's not actually processing anything. So that's why we do the do once. So it's no different than not having it there at all, really. It's not running any code. So yeah, once we've done that, we can then basically returns us back to the widget and we make our decisions again. And hopefully, if we test this out now, it should all be working. So let's give it a go. Obviously, when the Pokemon's health gets to 0, it's not gonna do anything. Purely because we haven't added in any of that yet. That's all still to come. But let's take a look at what happens now. So let's fit it to the screen a bit better. So let's do an attack. We do tackle. Bulbs will use tackle. Squirtle takes some damage. Squirtle used absorb. Attack missed. Okay. Don't know why he's got absorb. What? If I put the wrong move in there. So again, Bulbs will use tackle. And again. And then Squirtle use scratch. And then we'll tackle again. And you can see that the battle is still processing. I don't know where Squirrel's getting all these moves from. Was I messing around with stuff? Either way, we'll both use tackle, and Squirrel technically would be dead at this point. And the game has done its health check, and you can see that it's frozen in place, and that is because if we stop this now and we go back to the battle proxy, it does this health check here. So it does its health check. It updates the defending Ringamon as well while it's doing it, and then it's classed as dead. So if it's dead, it goes down to do the sort of Pokemon death routine. That's what it's doing there. As for the defending move, I don't know what happened there with Squirrel, to be honest. That was interesting. Let's click on Squirrel. Oh, wow, he's got 4 moves. Okay, so it was working. There was no bug. It's just that I gave him every move in existence that we could have at level 1. So, yeah. It is working, thank God. So back to this. So the idea is that just to run through this system one last time, in the widget, we have all these abilities to pick a move. For example, with the attacking, it will set to whatever we want it to set. It will then fire that over to the battle proxy. It will basically ask if both players have made a decision, or if it's not multiplayer, it will ask if the players made a decision. Once the players made a decision, it'll work out the AI's choice. Now that we've added this lovely bit of code in, as you saw in the battle, then he picked from 4 different moves, and he near enough used every one of them. And then once we've both made our choices, it works out the order. And it does that for multiplayer or AI battles. It will work out the same. And then we kind of go over to here to make either the player's choice or the enemy's choice. If it's attacking, it will fire all that information through. It runs through our lovely attack information. And if they die, it will come up down to here to basically deal with that situation, which will happen down the line. And then obviously we will have all our code to do XP as well and leveled up and stuff. If they haven't died, it goes to this end turn, and it runs through and sets everything back to how it should be. And then allows us to remake a choice on our widget. It's it looks complicated, but it actually is very simple. It's just checking that all the steps have been made. And if they have, it allows the battle to continue. If it hasn't, it waits. In a multiplayer situation, if one of the players logged out, we'd have to have a situation here where we have a timer. Eventually, we would have to have a timer of some sort to say, has this player made their choice? And if it's been 6 minutes and they haven't made a choice, it will just end the battle or declare the other one the winner. Any of those situations. But we can. I will add that in eventually at some point. But for now, I just want to get everything kind of the ball rolling as we'd expect it to. We have already set this opponent choice up. I need to set up on the multiplayer side of this, but I will be doing that probably at the very end because it's very complicated and I don't want to over confuse everyone. I'd rather get the AI battles fully complete, and then it's just a case of adding in the extra bit of multiplayer code that will go in at the end. But yeah, bit of a short episode today. Not a lot of information today. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to begin entering in. We have a choice. We can either go down the route of the Pokemon dies and we gain the XP, or we could go into capturing, or we could start using items. There's a load of avenues we can go down. If you have anything you'd rather do first, let me know and we'll explore it. But other than that, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much for being members. And as always, leave a little like, leave a little comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Much love. Take care. Bye.